We are here today with our go-to astrologer, Stevie Calista, to talk about June 2025 and what we can expect from this month. So, Stevie, want to kick us off?
Thanks for having me.
I am so interested to know what we have going on.
So June is Gemini season for the first part, and we ramp up into the summer solstice. And Gemini season really offers us this moment of duality and curiosity, and it's air. So we tend to get busy and chatty and social and curious, and it's a lot of learning. This is the season of learning and the mind. Then on the solstice, which is when we move into Cancer on June 20th, we'll change energies into water. And the solstice point too is like where the veil really thins. So when the sun hits 0 degrees of Cancer at the solstice, the sun stands still. That's what solstice means. And it's this very celebratory moment where the veil gets very thin, and meaning the energy is very strong. We're going to feel it all in our bodies. And we celebrate the days getting darker here in the Northern Hemisphere, and then the days getting brighter in the Southern Hemisphere, lighter and lighter each day. So June offers us a little bit of air and a little bit of water, but there's a really big shift happening early this month as well with Jupiter moving into Cancer.
Now, can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's a big one. On June 9th, Jupiter spends about a year in a sign, and he's been in Gemini, right? So it's that same mercurial, curious air archetype. He's moving into Cancer, and then Jupiter actually really loves being in Cancer. It's what they call exalted in astrology, which I don't use those terms much, but it's fun
Yeah.
to talk about like that, right?
Yes.
Jupiter loves being in Cancer. He like nooks on in and cozies in, and it's all about home and family life and nurturing your emotional body and finding truth in the emotional body, essentially. So, Jupiter in general is an expander, right? So, he asks us to seek truth. He asks us to expand, grow. It's the biggest planet in the solar system aside from our sun, right? But Jupiter really asks us to seek truth and find our vision. And when he moves into Cancer, it's the crab, it's nesting, it's what is your home life like? Where do you want to be? What's your truth of your upbringing and your family lineage? And I imagine a lot of people are going to be looking into their ancestry. That's what I bet will happen. But yeah,
Wow.
Jupiter in Cancer is a really nice change into a more watery, emotionally centered energy. And I think it's going to help us really find what feels good. That's what it feels like to me. Find our truth in the feeling of things. So I'm excited about that.
For anyone listening, you'll have to let us know what you start to feel.
Yeah.
And that reminder of do what feels good in different aspects of your life.
And this might mean too, like Jupiter tends to bring a lot of, he's a social planet. So you'll see this in the collective. It could make the housing market interesting. Something could shift with that because it's Cancer and it's the home. But overall, it's really a moment where we're going to be focused on our families, I think, a lot. It's very fertile. It's very
Mhm.
fertile energy. The only thing about this, though, is that he will square Saturn and Neptune at the beginning. And so
Okay.
most of this 12-month transit is very, really like nourishing and luxurious. But in the beginning of it, there is this tension between structure, our structures in our dream world, and then our expansion. And so when you have these planets squaring off with each other, something has to dissolve away in order to expand, or you have to take a deeper sense of responsibility in order to expand the way you want. So if you want to grow, there's work to be done, and there's maybe like old sticky beliefs that need to dissolve away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's because of Saturn representing what is
Structure,
structure,
responsibility.
right?
Yeah. And Neptune is like the dream world, and often too, like where we delude ourselves a little bit, like where we're in fantasy land. And the really interesting part about them together is that Neptune and Saturn are dancing over the 0 degree point in Aries, which is the 0 point energy. It's the birth energy of when we come from oneness to like individual self. And so we're all being initiated, especially this summer, into a rebirth. It's a huge rebirth. But when you put these two contrasting energies, Saturn is so structured and disciplined and responsible and
Yeah.
karmic, right? It's sometimes harder. It's like the squish with Neptune, who is
It feels the
literally,
opposite. It feels
yeah, it's completely the dream world. It's completely like your spiritual self, energy, feeling, spirituality, your vision. It's like the fantasy land. So you're putting these two fascinating archetypes together in the first degree of the zodiac. So really anything's possible. Like truly.
Wow.
And not only that, like it's time. Get real. Now is the time.
It's true. And before we even started taping today, you and I were talking about that feeling,
Yeah.
having that feeling without us discussing the actual energy that is actually coming our way in the
Right.
next week.
Yes. Yeah, and Aries really allows us to play in the humanness of why we're here. And Aries doesn't care, doesn't need to plan everything. It just wants to move forward and figure it out as it goes and just,
That's what I mean. Speaking
right? You're feeling
of
it.
right now, so I feel
Totally.
actually.
Yeah, let's just go.
Let's
Let's
just
go.
go.
We'll figure it out. We'll do the work. I promise we'll do the work because we want to make our dreams a reality. We
That's
want to
right.
give ourselves permission to rebirth into something new. And everybody's getting this moment this year to be like, who am I? Is that story or is that belief or that judgment really me? Or is that from somewhere else? And so Jupiter in Cancer squaring that is going to ask us to be like, now, did that come from your DNA? Did that come from your family, your mother and father? Where did that come from? And do you need to do something or even let something dissolve in order to grow bigger?
Which typically you do.
Yeah.
In order to grow, you
Yeah.
have to shed layers or whatever's holding you back.
Yeah. And that expansion contraction, we've been doing this for a while now. We will have a few years where we have it off and then we'll do it again. And so this is like the last stage of where we're expanding. It's like an accordion. You have to like squish in to grow bigger. It always reminds me of when you have a baby, or for some of you guys, and you realize your emotional body, joy is bigger, but so is sorrow, so is sadness. Like
That's a
everything
good
is
analogy.
bigger. That's what this is going to ask us to do is just grow bigger in our emotional body and our truth in that. And then just permission to do you. Messy, human, not perfect you. That's what this is
Um,
going to offer us. And the cool part too, I think that's going to come from this is that we're going to have this moment with the Cancer Jupiter energy to really get into our emotional body. Because Jupiter has been in Gemini, it's all mind, it's all chatty, and there's nothing, it's beautiful, that's so curious and it's opened us up to a new perspective. But this gives us this moment to really get serious with how we feel. And I think once we do that, and then we have this permission to grow into a new version of ourselves, I think it's going to be really beautiful. And when you have a square, it's challenge, but we need, without the challenge, we don't shift usually. We just keep floating on our merry way.
we always say you have to break down to break through, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everyone who's listening or watching has to break down, but that is the beauty of those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
When you are given that to know that on the other side, when you get through, it is a whole new upgraded you.
Yeah, totally. And this one is more truthful. I think this is going to give us an opportunity to really bring new truths into light and let go of this judgment. So maybe if you felt like black or white on something, or you felt like, no, this is right or this is wrong, I think this is going to give us a moment to be like, are you sure? Do you really feel that way?
Right. And these are the truths that you hold within you.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. And when you're talking Aries Cancer, it's very personal. They're like me signs, they're not we signs.
Yeah.
So it comes
Wow.
within.
So then what happens with the full moon? That's right after.
Yeah, so the full moon on June 11th is in Sagittarius, and this one actually has really lovely energy. So that's good news for us. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, we've had a lot of shaky full moons this year, like real Uranian shaky
Yes,
change,
I know. The
Yeah.
last one was pretty big.
Yes, totally. And
Yeah.
this one kind of it has this harmonious aspect with Chiron and Mars in both fire signs. It feels like a fiery, inspiring, fun kind of archetype of you guys don't take this game so seriously. Let's go play and have fun. And remember, healing doesn't have to be so serious, doesn't have to be so hard. And definitely keep an eye out for a new illuminated vision or truth to come in your way that maybe you weren't imagining would be there. So Sagittarius is like the seeker of all seekers. And in its greatest, it's telling stories and laughing and having fun and being like, hey, go travel, go have an experience. Remember, you're here to just have fun. Lighten up, Charlie. That's the kind of full moon that this is. And because it has harmonious aspects, it's really playful.
Wow. So that's Wednesday, June 11th. That's so cool. I'm excited for that. And should we be doing anything with that energy in terms of ritual on that day or the night before or the day after?
Yeah, something that's a great thing to do with Sagittarius is vision. So if you guys like to vision board or get into the bigger picture, Sag loves to think big. But other than that, like honestly, I would plan like a bonfire with friends or do something that's fun, that's like taking you out and being spontaneous. Because when you have the sun in Gemini is asking us to hold space and curiosity, and then Sag says, okay, I've been doing that, collecting information, and now I have a new truth. I've been having these experiences and staying really open. So we're balancing this curiosity and this standing in our truth of what we feel is right. So that's like what we're in, but mostly this is like very social and very fun. So if you can plan something fun around that date, it will probably feel really good. Go howl at the moon around a bonfire.
I love that. Well, and you could also throw anything you want to release into that bonfire.
Absolutely.
Write it down, throw it in there.
Yep, 100%.
I'm
Really is.
doing that. That's
It's a
so,
very fiery moon in a fun, light kind of way. Yeah.
oh, that's awesome. We need
And
that.
and also just if you wanted to plan something where you were to write or tell stories, it's such a good
Oh, I love that.
for like listening to the story and being entertained and laughing. I'm looking forward to it.
That's cool. Okay, so then from there, the next thing.
On the 17th of June, Mars goes into Virgo. And this is so nice. At least I think it is. But we've had Mars in Cancer and Leo for so long with that retrograde that we started the year off with.
Yes.
And while Mars is out of its cycle of that, it's been in Leo still for a while. And this is where Mars, which is our action, our drive, where we want to move forward, moves into Earth. Virgo is all about details and getting stuff done and being productive and getting your to-do list right and making things more efficient. And so we're all going to be driven to get our ducks in a row, but it's going to feel like flow. It's not, oh, I have to do my to-do list. If it's, oh no, I really want to organize my closet. I want to get my finances in a row and do these business tasks or whatever it is for you. It's going to feel easier to get stuff done.
That is such good news. And I have to tell you, like, I don't know, maybe energetically I'm starting to pick up on that because I literally have started a list of these things that I want to do in the next couple of weeks. Oof, that
You're
feels
feeling.
so synchronistic.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. We have all this fire to get us moving forward, and then the earth is okay, but how do we want to organize it and how do we want to make it better? And honestly, I imagine with the Cancer and the Virgo, people are probably going to be cleaning out their closets. And all
Yeah.
I can think about just from a personal stance is, ooh, there's going to be good garage sales. Because people are going to be purging.
I
Guys,
feel that 1,000%.
yeah,
Yeah, and you know how like sometimes you have the intention, but you're like, I don't know when I'm going to get to that. I feel the energy to want to do it.
yeah,
So that's so interesting all around. And it goes along too with that whole feeling of rebirth, starting fresh.
yeah. Purge, clear it
Her.
out.
Yeah.
Clear it out and make it better. Virgo wants you to like take the system and then restructure it so that it's more efficient and easier. It takes less time later. Yeah. The only thing I will say about this, because I always like to talk about the shadow of
Yeah.
signs, right?
Yeah.
Virgo is perfectionism and criticism because Virgo is really good. It just does know how to make things better and more efficient. And so with that, sometimes can be frustration that like, oh, I always have to do this, or I always have to be the fixer, or the one that keeps the ball rolling. And so just be careful of your own inner perfectionist and your own inner criticism, because that can sometimes also project onto other people big time. So I imagine we're all going to be cycling through that stuff too.
That's a good heads up. There's both. There's all this energy, and that's good. And watch out
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Or it might bring that stuff up for you to take a look at it.
Yeah. And then release it somehow.
Yes,
Be aware.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so that's June 17th. Then June 20th, we have the solstice.
The solstice, and that's when the sun moves into Cancer, and it actually joins with Jupiter on the 24th. So we move into this Jupiterian. It's like Jupiter will move into Cancer and then the sun will come. And whenever the sun comes to a planet, he really illuminates like big old spotlight on Jupiter, big old spotlight on that Cancer energy. So this solstice is big. It's very expansive. I imagine we're all going to feel it in our bodies. As far as ritual goes on the solstice on the 20th, I really like to honor the sun. So maybe that's a bonfire. Maybe that's lighting candles at night. Maybe you make an altar of light. Maybe you just like want to plan the pool party. We are being initiated into this like sun summer energy. And
Mm.
so however you want to honor that, it's a really good time to do it.
And I believe it falls on a Friday this
Does
year.
it? That's cool.
Yeah, it does.
That's
which
fun.
does
Yeah.
it makes it even more fun, right?
Yes, totally. And Friday's Venus Day. There's a reason why Fridays feel so good. It's because they're Venus days.
Wait, I didn't know that. Why, tell everyone what Venus
So every day of the week
represents.
has a planet, like Monday is the moon and so on, but Friday is Venus and it feels like pleasure and desire and we just let's eat
Oh,
popcorn and do the things that are feel
yes,
really
that
good.
makes sense, but I
Friday
didn't know
feels
that.
good. Even if you work on Friday and you don't like your work, but like it's gonna feel good to get off, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's why Fridays feel the way they do. They're very Venusian, like feminine, desire, pleasure based. That's cool.
That is. I love that. Okay, so anything else then towards the end of the month?
Just one thing about Cancer season two is we're talking similar things that Jupiter. This is home, family. This is why a lot of family reunions are in Cancer season, why you hang out with your family a lot during this season. And it just internally speaking, it's a really good time to take baths, nourish your emotional body, do things at home that feel really good. Because the Cancer is crab, right? So there's this like kind of crab nesty energy with it too. So there's that. And then the last thing that I have is June 25th is the new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees. And this one's actually conjunct Jupiter. And so honestly, from gosh, June 9th until the 20th, the end of the month, it's so Jupiter.
Wow.
All signs point to Jupiter because even the new moon is conjunct Jupiter, meaning like sun, moon, Jupiter are all together in Cancer. So huge seed planting. You guys, if you do gardening, fertile. It's so fertile. People that are trying to make babies like that. I feel like there's going to be a little baby boom in this year with
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
yeah. Well, and just starting anything,
totally. Sorry.
use the energy in your.
Especially in the home life, especially around what feels, use your feeling. Cancer is very intuitive and nurturing and likes to cook food and it's nostalgic. So I also imagine we're all probably going to be like scrapbooking our baby books and finishing up with stuff that in that realm, because Cancer really likes to look back at the past and be nostalgic and traditional with it. I imagine that also is going to come to the surface. But that day is a really good day to plant seeds around how you feel in your home life and your family. There's something that you really want to nourish.
That is so cool. And I just think to touch again on the whole Jupiter aspect of things, as you said, it's an expander. In my brain, I always think of it as both expander and abundant.
Yeah,
That's the
abundant.
word I think of it too.
That's a great word.
And I feel such a positive way to look at this
Mhm.
month and the
Oh,
energy that's in there. And I love all the nuances that you were able to give us so that
yeah,
we can best utilize that energy, which
totally.
doesn't happen all the time.
No, I don't usually get to say all these nice
I
things.
know this is so exciting. Like, what?
Okay, you're in for it this month.
I feel
It's
like,
got some tension, but you're right. It's got a lot of abundance. It's got a lot.
yeah. And like what I didn't hear from you, which I feel like we have in the past several months, is a lot of Uranian energy. Is there any undercurrent of that, or are we good for a little bit?
Your Uranian energy really ramps up in, I think, July.
I remember from the year.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Uranus, like the end of June. So when Uranus moves at the last year, so let me just give you this extra date for Uranian energy because it
Okay.
is coming. It will be on the 17th of June. Uranus moves into the last degree of Taurus. And so when we have a very disruptive, amazing, rebellious planet, I love Uranus, hitting the last degree of a sign, and it's been there since 2017, 18.
Oh,
Okay.
stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're ending the cycle. And I believe he does pop back into Taurus at the end of the year. So just a heads up, the very end of the year and then moves again. But from the very end of June, he will be at the last degree of Taurus. And that means he's really closing the chapter. 29 degrees is okay, wrap it up, break free. And it's with Uranian energy, it's very erratic, lightning bolts, not
Right.
unexpected, right? So we don't really know what may or may not happen. But I do imagine like disruption actually happening in that degree point before it shifts into Gemini. So
Yeah.
there is still a flavor. I'm glad you brought that up because there's a cycle ending.
Yeah, it's always on my radar. With it being in Taurus, 29 degrees, what does that mean for the Taurian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since this 2017, 18, because he went back and forth. So he was solid in Taurus in 2018. Since that time, We have been disrupting our own sense of security, our own sense of safety, our food systems, our physical material world, the money systems. Like Taurus is so very physical and for so sensual based, so like our senses. And so those things have been shook within us. And Taurus is very sensitive. And so it's like shaking of the body cells. We've all been shaking. So we're closing this chapter of we've all had to learn how to feel more safe and secure. And also just like maybe a lot of our values have shifted because Taurus is the first archetype to say, this is what I value. And I'm going to like grit down all the way and make that important. And so some of our values have shifted. Have you guys noticed that? Like I've noticed
Yes. And those 2017, 2018 is pivotal in my
yeah,
life.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
So
we used to value has shifted
I'm a different person. Yeah.
100%, especially for people with any Taurus planets.
Yeah. You, like you and I.
Right. And a lot of people have like something there, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
it's definitely changed you in ways. And now for people that will have Gemini, they'll be the ones being,
Interesting. Oh, I'm
yeah.
so glad that came up.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up too, because the 29-degree point is
Yeah. Major.
the end. It's the end.
And you had already brought up because we, in a different way, we have like when you brought up zero at the beginning
Right.
for Aries. That's so interesting.
This is really why to wrap it all around in a bow. This is why 2025 is so pivotal astrologically, for real though, because planets are dancing over 29-0, 29-0, so end beginning, and we're going to have them dance back over those 29-degree points at the end of the year and then
Wow.
come back again. So we're doing this, ooh, we're new, and then we're going to be like, oh, wait, oh, and then we're going to do it. So not that the seeds that you're planting aren't going to flourish. They are. You are starting new. You are being rebirthed completely. But it's just fascinating because so many of the big planets are doing this, and that is not common.
Wow. Because then when you say they come back, to your point, you're planting all of these seeds, you are transforming and have been, and then it's just wants you to like double check.
Yep.
So that's at that end of the year, which we'll, I'm sure, talk about. But it's
Yep.
remember, you
There's
own
still,
this. Yeah.
yeah, there's still some sand under the rug that we
Yeah.
gotta fully clear it out and sweep it out so you can actually step into that newness. Yeah.
Being human is fucking hard.
I know. Especially when you have so many outer planets. Pluto's just changed, Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter. I mean,
What a year.
everybody is changing archetypes. So all of us are like, whoa.
And you know what's so interesting, Stevie, is that you and I met, I want to say at the end of 2018.
Yeah,
So to me, it's like we've been going through this together,
totally.
really. And so
Yeah,
to see where we are and where we are going too,
yeah, yeah.
it's pretty unbelievable because we are different people.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember being in 2018 and being like, okay, our values are going to shift.
And we've had these check-ins going for every year.
Yeah,
And it's really unbelievable how you've said, and we've talked about this year especially, how things are going to break down, things are going to change, and they really are. And at
yeah,
the core of it all, though, and what we're talking about, especially even this month, it's all about ourselves.
yeah,
Like, who are we? Who am I? And that is what we need to all focus on.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a forecast. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. Feels
Me
good.
too.
I love Cancer energy too. Like it's my fave. So it's
I
gonna
think
be,
it's so interesting that it's actually in this June to July period because you wouldn't necessarily expect that because it's summer in most places,
yeah,
in North America at least. It's interesting.
yeah. It's interesting that Jupiter changes signs right before the sun moves into that sign. Like
Yeah.
that's not how it usually works. It's cool that the Jupiter is going to change. We're going to feel that energy, and then the sun's going to come and really illuminate it for us for the start of his cycle in Cancer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get a real clear picture right away of what it's going to feel like.
We look forward to checking in, which I'm
Yep.
sure we will, and then seeing how this all goes. And for anybody listening, keep us posted on how this impacts you. We want to know. So
Yep.
thank you, Stevie, and thanks to everyone for listening or watching.